Hey guys, I'm back today with another book review. I'm going to be doing a book review on the book Pandemonium by Lauren Oliver, which is the sequel to Delirium. I'm going to let you know that there might be a little bit of spoilers. If you've never read Delirium, then I am going to be talking about Delirium in this video. This book basically picks up immediately where the first book leaves off, in a sense. In the first book we find, and here's the spoiler, in the first book we find at the very end that Alex had been shot and he is dead. So now Lena has to move on with her life and try to figure out what she's going to do with her life now that Alex is gone. And so in this book, she's living in the wild, which is basically where the people that are not cured, and she lives with she ended up with this family. Raven and Tack are, I believe, they're like the mother and father of the family, and so they've taken care of Lena. And in the wild, she's basically doing like things she's never done before, like eat a squirrel and all this manual labor. And you know, when it gets cold, they have to move up north and things like that. But overall, this book for me was very hard for me to read, especially the first 200 pages. I will say that in the very beginning I was intrigued of what's really going on, but then after a while I kind of figured it out, and then I was like, okay, now I see what's going on. But the one thing I will talk about that I did not like is that how the author kept making us jump from past to present. Because when I first started reading this book, and it was like the past, where it was like, okay, she's being reborn and she's trying to figure out what she wants to do. Okay, then I get that. But then once we get into the now, I'm like, how the hell is she in New York? Because basically once you get to the now, she moves to New York to basically become a spy, or she's like a spy for the Invalids, trying to watch over the government, because there's like this big like leader who's against, or who is pro-cure, and so they kind of try to keep an eye on him to figure out what his plan is going to be. But what ends up happening is that she falls in love with the guy's son. His name is Julian. And that was kind of interesting. That was kind of interesting how she fell in love with him. And I really did like the whole, I really did like the love story between her and Julian, because she really was doing things that, for me, she just didn't do in Delirium. Like she literally fought to save Julian close to the end, and it was just like with Alex, it was that she really didn't have to fight to be with him. Alex more fought for her to be with her. I mean, he was the one that came to pick her up, and she just went with him. You know, she was like, Lena was more into, hey, I'm gonna break into his house, I'm gonna save him, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to end up to be with Alex. And so the character like really changed in that aspect. And then at the very end of, and this is the one thing I do like about this author, is that at the very end of this book there's a major cliffhanger, and I'm like so excited to see what is going to happen in the next book, because oh my god, I loved the way it ended. I loved it. But like I said, the first 200 pages were very hard for me to read because I didn't understand what's going on. But I'm just going to tell you, if you guys haven't read this book, just to be prepared that it's kind of confusing, because you know, the then is like when she's reborn and she's trying to figure out how to live in the wilds, and then in the now, that's basically where she is, and that's where she meets Julian, and how she meets Julian, and how they get kidnapped and those sort of things. But so yeah, I mean, overall it was an okay book. It's not one of my favorite books, but I didn't love, but I liked the last 150 pages I thought were pretty good. And it really just, some parts of it were just, like I said, it was kind of hard for me to read in the beginning, but, you know. So, if you liked Delirium, I would go ahead and check it out just to see if you like it, because one thing I did want to mention is that the lady at the bookstore, when her and I were talking about this, she said that certain people, they loved Delirium, but they didn't like Pandemonium, and then vice versa. And I was really one of those people that I loved Delirium. I thought it was really good, but I wasn't that impressed with Pandemonium. Even though I loved the way it ended, the last 150 pages. But, you know, just give it a chance, and I really do like Lauren Oliver. I think she's a really good author. So, yes, this is the end of my video. So, thank you guys so much for watching, and have a good day. Bye!